Ladies and gentlemen, not so long ago, somebody very close to me asked me why I was attending today's event. You will be leaving office shortly, she said. So why spend your precious time on social innovation? Well, that's exactly why I wanted to be here today. Over my almost 40 years in service, I've seen the world change around me, become more complex, more uncertain, and therefore more is needed than a purely military approach to problems. Instead of the single threat we faced during the Cold War period, we now face a multitude of threats, such as the spread of terrorism, the global refugee crisis, the droughts already mentioned here today, pandemic diseases, food crises, dangerous new technologies that are being developed. And all of these affect our lives in one way or the other, wherever you live and whatever you do. And we all know that no single power, no country, no international organization can deal with these problems on its own, let alone a military force. Of course, the international communities can always call upon the military to keep people safe, to provide humanitarian aid, or to intervene with weapons when all else has failed. But my men and women cannot address the root causes of conflicts and disasters. They cannot prevent grasslands from turning into barren deserts. They cannot solve the water crises or stop millions of people fleeing their homes. They can only be part of that solution. The real solution requires the combined efforts of many. Not only diplomats, politicians, or development workers, but most of all the efforts of very creative minds, people who think out of the box, like the innovators here today. Because you are needed to come up with powerful social innovations. And the good thing is that we, the military, we can help you do that. We can offer a platform for innovation and help getting your ideas past the promising stage and on the way to becoming a reality. The only thing we need is to think big, act small, but start somewhere. And let me try to explain to you what I mean with that, by using an example out of my own experience. As a young engineer, I learned how to clear minefields. It was a dangerous, very time-consuming job. You basically lay down on the ground and probe the soil inch by inch. Because, as you know, mines are ruthless killers. And if they don't kill you, they will certainly cost you an arm, a leg, or a foot. I experienced that later in my career as commander in Uruzgan province in the south of Afghanistan. Never will I forget the images of a 10-year-old boy lying in a hospital bed with a gap where his leg should be. A boy who just the day before picked up a toy car containing an explosive. Or the image of an old woman with no foot and bandages around her leg, who just the day before walked to the market to buy food. Those experiences show me just how mines are the worst enemies. They don't care if you're a soldier, a farmer working the land, or a child at play. Mines kill or injure anyone. And the worst thing is that there are still millions of unexploded mines out there, scattered over 98 different countries and territories worldwide. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, for instance, more than 100,000 mines are buried along the former front lines, nearly 2 decades after the war, still killing, still injuring civilians, including children, victims of a war that ended long before they were born. So we need people who can come up with smart and new ideas to deal with these kinds of threats. And that's exactly why I invited the Hassani brothers to my office last month. You may not know them, but they fled Afghanistan 19 years ago. And now they live in the Netherlands, where they dedicate their lives to the clearing of minefields. Here they are. Masoud, on the left, is now 33 years old, and his younger brother, Mahmoud, is 30 years old. When they were kids, they saw their friends in Afghanistan lose limbs to landmines. They saw their friends get killed by landmines. And that's why they are so dedicated, why they want to make that change. But how? You may well ask. Well, they first invented a giant ball, shaped like a blue octopus that rolls around in the wind, with its bamboo sticks sticking out and plastic discs on the end. It can roll around in dangerous areas, detonating mines. This ball, however, didn't really work because it was too light. So they had to come up with a better approach, a completely new idea. And that's why, for the last 3 years, the brothers have been developing a mine-hunting drone. Together with a team of 21 young engineers from all over the world, they are developing this. And today, this drone is not only able to fly above mined areas, but it also generates a very detailed 3D map with a built-in aerial mapping system. It then uses a metal detector to fly over that area and pinpoint any landmine. And after that, it can place detonators on top of the mines with a robotic arm. And then it flies away, and boom, let the explosive do its work. According to these brothers, their capabilities make the drone not only safer, but also 20 times faster than any existing mine-clearing device. And 200 times cheaper than the current traditional demining methods. Now, can you imagine that? It means this mine-hunting drone can be a real lifesaver. But before they can actually prove this, the brothers need to finish their prototype and start testing it with real landmines. And that's where I can help. I offered Masoud and Mahmoud the opportunity to test their drone regularly at one of our military test facilities, where they also have the chance to talk with my military experts to further improve their innovation as they go along, to live their dream to help clear all 110 million landmines worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, think big, act small, start somewhere. And that's what the Hassani brothers did. And that's what I'm trying to do by offering them test facilities, our network, and our military knowledge. But this principle can be applied to any challenge the world is facing. So let me give you another example. 6 months ago, we, the Dutch Ministry of Defense, organized a Future Force conference. We invited 1,200 people from all around the world, from all walks of life, not just military, and not just policymakers, researchers, and CEOs, but also white-hat hackers, architects, economists, students, social scientists, and artists, so they could meet, connect, spread ideas. The same we are doing here today. In fact, I told everyone during that conference that no matter how far-fetched their ideas are, we should all be willing to at least listen to them. But the funny thing is, I had to remind myself to that. Because during a coffee break, a man approached me and he asked me, "General, what if we were able to produce water out of thin air in the middle of the Sahara Desert, the driest and hottest place on Earth, just by using the sun?" Then he fell silent and he looked at me with a twinkle in his eye. waiting for my reaction. I smiled at him and said, "Well, sir, that sounds fantastic. Hopefully one day you'll manage to do so." And I turned around. But then I realized I needed to practice what I preached. So I turned back to him and asked him to explain what he was talking about. And he told me enthusiastically he was a Dutch artist named Ab Verheggen. He's sitting right here. And he wanted to make contact. He wanted to make a device that could extract water from the air. Solar-powered. Sun glacier technology, he called it. And it was certainly not meant to be just art. No, this man believed that his technology was the solution to overcome any water shortage crisis. So I told him, "Listen, I would like to offer you the opportunity to test your technology at our military base in the Mali desert." Now, I don't think he believed me at that moment, because he looked quite surprised. He nodded and he gave me his card. But a few weeks later, when he was invited by my staff to plan this trip, he knew for sure. He and his colleagues were going to Africa, to Mali. It was for real. Think big, act small, start somewhere. Again, that's what it's all about. And for Ab, the artist, thinking big means trying to solve water scarcity. His act is to build a device that can extract water from hot and dry air. And our common start was the Mali field test. For the Hassani brothers, thinking big means clearing all landmines worldwide. Their act is to construct an affordable mine-hunting device. And our common start is at our engineers' test facility in the Netherlands. For me, thinking big means contributing to a more secure world. My act in this case is to offer the defense organization as a test facility. And my start is with Ab and the two Afghan brothers. And the great thing is, this principle does actually work. It does lead to something bigger. The experiment in Mali, for instance, provided valuable field testing results. Because Ab, the artist, was able to extract water from desert air, despite all the extreme dry and hot conditions. And he learned a few things. For example, in Mali, he noticed that the water that he produced evaporated before he could collect it, which is not very handy. So back in the Netherlands, he worked hard to find the next solution. And the result? More water. So now, and I believe he's one of today's contestants, he's going to share his new innovation with us in just a few minutes. And I'm not trying to influence the jury. But all today's contestants have invented great and inspiring innovations. They are all unsung heroes who keep the new generations after us in mind. And with our and other people's help, these innovations could get past that promising stage. And that's why you were invited here today. That's why Ideas from Europe and Making Waves are all about. So ladies and gentlemen, let's not walk the path of peace alone, thinking our worlds are too far apart. Let's think big, act small, start somewhere. And to all social innovators present here today, I would like to say, don't hesitate. Don't wait. Just tell everybody, every organization, how they can help you. How to help you, but most importantly, how to help others worldwide who need your innovation. So that together we can indeed find solutions for the challenges that we face and make this world a little bit safer for everyone. Thank you.